There are a few different ways of working with the moon in astrology on a monthly basis. One way is to watch the repeating psychological patterns that are created through the moon transiting your horoscope in the same order every month. And we forget, because the whole story only needs snippets. We are so brainwashed, we know the story so well. We can sometimes even preempt feelings or thoughts. And so it seems it isn't the same, but it is the same every month. And so it doesn't help really looking at all of the horoscope in order, because it becomes too big. Even looking at a little bit of it is big. So let's say a little bit of it are a few planets, a few degrees apart. Okay, so the moon will travel 2 degrees in 4 hours-ish. Okay, so let's imagine that someone has Venus, Uranus and Pluto 2 degrees apart. Okay, so for instance, every month Venus will be transited by the moon and the person feels lovable. They feel the need to be lovable as well. And then 4 hours later, as it were, as moon transits Uranus, there is a need to break some boundaries, to be eccentric, to prove their individuality. You can just imagine the scenario. And then 4 hours after that, as moon transits Pluto, perhaps they feel guilty. Perhaps they need to prove that they were right to have acted in that way. And so we see in a nutshell, Venus, the need to be loved, Uranus, the need to break boundaries, and Pluto, the need to be right. Now, I'm saying the need, that's because the moon is transiting them. The moon brings out the need in every planet. But we'll get back to that for the second way of dealing with it. But in our first scenario, in our first way of working with the moon, once a month, imagine that Venus, Uranus and Pluto are in different order. So Uranus, Venus and Pluto. So then as the moon transits Uranus, you've got somebody who feels they want to just break some boundaries. They want to be spontaneous. They want to do whatever comes up next. And then 4 hours later, as moon transits their Venus, they might have to go a few extra miles to be lovable. And then beyond that 4 hours later, perhaps they need to be right, or feel that they still have some power and they haven't given their power away, perhaps with Pluto, that they still have some inner strength there. And so they might do that through having been guilty and making recompense or something like that. But put Pluto first between these three planets. Pluto, first of all, they need to be right. That's the first thing. Okay? So it starts off with a desire to be right, a desire to have some power. Then, as 4 hours later, they have a reason to go too far. So there's got a greater manipulative or leverage. They've got greater manipulative edge or leverage as moon transits their Uranus. And then as moon transits Venus, 4 hours after that, then they are making peace somehow, or maybe they've just ignored everything and they just do feel lovable. But you see how the different order creates a different scenario. And so it's too big, as I said, to look at the whole lot. So just take a little bit of your horoscope and watch how that repeats on a monthly basis. And I'd say that the planets need to be within a day of each other. So the moon travels 13 degrees about-ish every in 24 hours. The second way of working with moon transits is obviously deepening your understanding of what each planet or faculty means in you. Now, I said at the beginning that the moon brings out the need in each planet, and the alchemists told us that when they said that the silver is in the gold is in the iron. That's the same as the moon being in the sun, the moon being in Mercury. So when we look at it in this way, we see as moon transits the sun, the need to integrate things, disparate ideas, the need for integrity, the need to join things up. And that gives us confidence that we know the way it is. When moon transits Mercury, we have the need to communicate, and as it's the moon to the need to communicate about kind of personal things. Then as moon transits Venus, we have the need to feel loved. As moon transits Mars, the need to express our life energy. And then as moon transits Jupiter, we have the need to see, be part of the bigger picture. Now, I do recognize these are really simplified kind of concepts here. But then let's go on with the moon in Saturn. As moon transits Saturn, we need to focus. We need to build something, make something solid. As moon transits Uranus, we have the need to be able to be free. And as moon transit Neptune, the need to be connected to more than ourselves, whether that's drugs or spirituality. And then the moon transiting Pluto, the need to be right. So there are other parts of the horoscope, obviously the angles, and maybe you want to consider the asteroids as well, and the nodes. But that generally is a way to work with moon every month. And as you can tell, it's very difficult pinning it down for one person because the ideas are actually quite big, and for each person, say like a moon Venus, the need to feel connected is going to mean different things for each person. So there's a whole load of rhetoric involved to try and explain it to you for it to be personally meaningful for you. And that is where the difficulty is in proving astrology, though I am trying to prove it this way, but you can prove it to yourself. You can follow your own transits. You can even calculate your own transits. And if you want to journal it in, click on the links below, because I've created journals specifically so we understand the depths and the undercurrents of the planets in our lives, because there is an order. We are part of an order. That doesn't mean we have no free will. But if there is an order, don't you want to know it?